the advanced pre-existing civilization, that one fascinates me because that's one that I haven't quite heard talked about a lot. But ironically, the last podcast guest I had on also said he believes that there are ancient civilizations that were here on Earth. So you're
Yeah,
saying that some of these might still be here, like potentially inner Earth or
sure,
underwater?
sure. Yeah, because the Condon report that was released to the public in 1969, which Jacques Vallée had talked about, out of all the cases they considered, they didn't consider one USO case, but USOs represent 51% of this phenomenon. So how can you have an objective report where you're claiming to discredit UFOs, you're trying to explain them all away, yet you haven't even looked at 51% of the whole phenomenon and you're claiming you know what's going on? It's a total joke. It's a total joke because we've got so many cases of USOs bursting out of the oceans right next to military cruisers and then going off into space.
Do they
There's cases
displace
of these.
water when they do it?
Yeah, yeah. There's boiling water. There's rings of water as these things are popping out. We've got cases in 1956 where bullet-shaped USOs, unidentified submerged objects, and we want to reference Ivan T. Sanderson, Invisible Residence. I challenge anyone who is a skeptic about this subject. I challenge you to read that book over a 1 weekend time period. Go to the
What is the book
beach.
again?
It's called Invisible Residence by Ivan T. Sanderson. It's all about credible U.S. Navy USO reports. There's in Japan, there's all around the world, there's these USO reports. In that book, it talks about how there was a USO report where a 200-foot long bullet-shaped craft punched through 37 feet, not 37 inches, 37 feet of solid ice and then went right off into space back in 56. And when it did that, these huge chunks of ice were flying off into the sky and then slamming down. And then when they got to where this thing popped out of the ice, it made this perfect carved ring circle, and there was boiling water where this thing departed. And it's being reported by the U.S. Navy.
Are these sightings still happening? Because it seems like a lot of the sightings that we do talk about are decades ago, right? So
That's
why is
true,
it
but
then that there is a stoppage of this?
yeah, Preston Dennett can tell you that the USO reports off the coast of Catalina Island are still ongoing. Yeah, the USO
Hmm.
reports, they've never stopped. But get back to the book. Anyone who's objectively looking at this and reads that book over the weekend, you will absolutely walk away a 100% believer that the USO reports the phenomenon is real. No question about it. No question about it.
I see. If they are potentially pre-existing advanced civilizations, one, why are they pre-existing, and would that make them separate from us? Would that make them the same from us? And what would be the motivation for keeping themselves separate from us?
Good question. I don't know the answer to that. You would think by now they would have showed themselves and made contact. Maybe they're just observing us.
Hmm.
Maybe they're just trying to monitor what we're doing with our military. It certainly looks like they have the technology to shut down our ICBM silos, although that happened in the 70s. We've got reports in the 60s and 70s of that going on. So it looks like they can render our nuclear weapons completely useless if they wanted to. But
Hmm.
it doesn't look like there's a threat, because if there was a threat, they would have done it by now.
Yeah. I promise you'll still be able to scroll on Instagram tomorrow, most likely.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, So I guess another, the interdimensional, that's one that I also feel like doesn't get mentioned as much as either. And
Mhm.
that concept is something that I don't even know how to wrap my head around. What is interdimensional, and what to you suggests that there could be an interdimensional element to this?
Well, if we just look at our visible wavelength of light that we can see, if there's so much more because you've got the infrared part of it as well. So even just looking at it through our own eyes, we're only seeing a fraction of what's out there. That's why we have these radio space telescopes and things that are super chilled down and they can look through the infrared and they can see things too. So that might explain some of these interdimensional craft that are coming in. We just can't see that wavelength, and it's certainly a possibility, but it can't be denied because these cases go back a lot earlier than June 24th, 1947 with Kenneth Arnold. They go back prior to the 1943-44 reports of Foo Fighters on both the Allied and Axis side. If you just keep on pushing this back, we've got cases from Christopher Columbus, 1492. He had a sighting. That's 1492. Keep going back further than that. We've got papyrus writings from ancient Egypt. We've got the cases in Rome where they saw flying shields. So now we're looking at 2000 BC, 2500 BC. We're further going back. It's been going on for thousands of years. We just can't claim that it's a man-made technology. We can't claim that it's something new. It looks like it's been here for thousands of years.
Na 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 na.